Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to the episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and we are so excited to be coming to you today from the beautiful sunny beaches of Gulf Shores, Alabama. We have a fun guest interview coming up, and he does not look like he's in such a fun location. He looks like he's in a nice little office there. But it is none other than Jordan Netzel from the LawnTools, and I am very excited for this interview because I've been following LawnTools on social media for a while. Heard him on Paul's podcast a while back and said, hey, I want to get y'all on and just kind of hear a little bit more of your story and the journey that you've created and started, and now like the side hustle that's not a side hustle anymore, into what you're into today. So how you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me. This is fun.
Absolutely.
I like these podcast things.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope everybody can hear me well. I hope it's not too loud. I'm sitting here on the balcony, so we got a little breeze coming and kids down in the pool, but we'll try to keep that background noise to a minimum. Well, man, I just wanted to hear your story. Like I said, I want to go through and tell everybody out there kind of how the LawnTools started, because, I mean, I know you've blown up on social media. There's millions of people that watch and follow along, which is just crazy in and of itself. Just tell me, I mean, and you have another job, like it's not even your full-time job. You were sitting here and you're on your lunch break. So, just tell us as much or as little as you want, and kind of the story and the life of where the LawnTools began.
Yeah, well, the LawnTools began, we started, my brother and I, I'm right tool, he's left tool because of where our faces are on the logo. But, my brother and I shared a lawn in the middle of these duplexes we were living in. And so we were like, well, we wanted to make the grass really nice because we were going to practice golfing out there. And I was like, all right, so I'll get a lawnmower. What do I need to get? You know, do you care? Do you have any preference? And he was like, yeah, we got to get one of those like old school reel mowers, the manual reel mower that mows, you know, as fast as you push it. And I was kind of confused. And I was like, all right, I guess like that could be fun, maybe, whatever. And like, I didn't know what to expect. So we got that. He ordered it. We started mowing that grass, and it started looking really good. Then, like in the middle of the summer, it was really tough to push that thing as fast as I had to get all the grass cut, because the Bermuda was growing so fast. You'd have to mow at least twice a week for it to be comfortable. And if I got behind it all, I was literally doing like wind sprints in the backyard with that thing, trying to cut the tall, thick grass. So I got sick of that pretty quick, and I went on to the homeowner, so the True Cut H20, and it was like just a snowball from there, because after that, then found a golf course selling a couple of used Toro Greens Masters for pretty cheap, and so those are greens mowers, and so just like stepping up in the quality there. I've been doing YouTube for like 5 years now, if not going on like 6 years, and that was just slowly growing, which was fun and everything. And then in 2019, TikTok came around. So that's been a wild ride, because TikTok started like 2018 maybe?
Yeah, somewhere in there. That was back in the early, you got in there in the early wave.
Right. Oh, for sure. And that was kind of crazy. Like it's way more wild. It was way more wild then than it is now. But it's still like, and that's saying something if you know how like crazy TikTok can be. So anyway, did the TikTok thing. I started in the fall, so it was kind of tough because I was like trying to come up with things to post. I had started doing TikTok with the optometry. I'm an optometrist, by the way. I don't know if
we didn't even get into that, but yeah, that's cool.
So like this is a total side hustle for me. I started posting videos on TikTok for like optometry, so goofy videos on this account called the TikTok Eye Doc. So that one kind of blew up, and that was interesting. And so I had the LawnTools account first, I think, and then I was like, well, it's winter time, and so I was like experimenting with it or whatever, and so there was more like obviously stuff to do in the office, and so I started making videos there. Well, then COVID hit, and I wasn't in the office. We were shut down for like 6 weeks. So I didn't have anything to make on the TikTok iDoc. And so I
Yeah.
went that was in the spring. So I went full bore into the LawnTools on TikTok. And then that one blew up and started passing the TikTok iDoc. And so that one got left in the dust. I just totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
I haven't had it forever. Anyway, and that was more fun for me anyway, doing the lawn care thing. So
Yeah.
that's blew up, and a couple big shares, ESPN sponsorships from Lowe's and True Value Hardware Store, Scott's Miracle Grow, Anderson's, a lot of stuff like that. PGA Tour, they flew us out to Baltimore and went to the BMW Championship. So some crazy things because
that's crazy.
Yeah. So it's all been
now. If you
crazy.
make it to the Masters, then we'll be talking.
Right. People have messaged usually it's someone who's either friends with the superintendent or, hey, I know a guy who works on the grounds at the Masters and he's friends with the superintendent, so I'll shoot him, put in a good word or whatever. I'm okay, hey,
yeah, do it.
And a couple other conversations happening with Greenskeepers Association. So anyway,
yeah,
it's possible.
Yeah,
we'll see.
That's awesome, man. That's a super fun story. It's crazy to me that you literally just started as a side, just for fun. You were just what made you start videoing? That's so you go back to the apartment complex. What made you start videoing it?
Yeah, so mostly. So I don't know if we actually didn't start videoing until we did that on the duplex, and then when I moved out of the duplex into the house that I'm in now. New sod or whatever, we were let's start documenting, making this lawn a lot nicer because it was just new Bermuda sod, whatever. It's all the sand and all that sort of stuff. So that's when I was motivated. I was okay, I'm going to start videoing this because I've been watching guys like Connor Ward, if you know that guy in Utah. Yeah. He was probably one of the first people videoing himself and showing it on YouTube, real mowing.
Yeah.
He and then John Ware, who's down in Fort Smith, Arkansas, he actually just recently sold the lawnforum.com. He was showing stuff on YouTube with real mowers, and there was a very, very, very niche group of guys that was doing this and talking about it mostly on the lawn forum, and Connor was on the lawn. So I was learning about it from those guys and then seeing them post it on YouTube, and I was this is amazing. So I had the True Cut, and I was talking to those guys and seeing them on YouTube, and I was well, I could film this too, whatever, in the greens mowers. So I started filming it and putting it up, and just to see what would happen. And YouTube, again, it was a slow growth or whatever. So it was just fun getting to know people who liked keeping really nice grass with greens mowers. There's other people who had comments, I guess. Because we met a lot of people through the comments or whatever, people who did make videos and people who didn't, just talking about the same stuff.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool. What's crazy to me is the whole, if you go back to COVID, you said COVID happened and that's when you really weren't in the office and you started paying a lot of time to LawnTools. COVID's a crazy thing, and this is something that you might look at it with a different perspective now that you kind of are, you say it's a side hustle, but you're a business owner, really, at the end of the day. This is a business. It's for profit. I mean, yeah, it's for fun. You help people, you show people, but you make money off this stuff. And what's crazy to me is that COVID, propelled your business. And I think how many other businesses did it shut down versus propel? And it's kind of a mentality of, if you went into the mentality of, well, I can't work in the doctor's office, in your eye office for 6 weeks, what am I going to do? I'm distraught, the world's ending. Then would you have ever had that mentality of, hey, let's start doing this on YouTube? And you could have never even got into this if you wouldn't have just had the open mind to, hey, let's start video. And it's just crazy to me how a certain mentality like that can change literally your life.
Right. Yeah. So YouTube started in, I think, 2016. TikTok started in 2018.
Yeah, but TikTok is what really blew you up, right?
I need to do something else. I've got all this time sitting around.
Yeah,
let's do TikTok thing.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's just crazy how different mentalities you can have that and be like one business could run into the ground and the other could take off like that. It just it's cool to look back on, and now that we're 2.5 years removed now, that just to see where everybody's come from that. So that's really cool, man. Well, what about so we say as you are a business owner, like I said, it's on the side. You do the optometry, but you are a business owner. So what are some things along the way that you've learned as figuring out your prices for sponsorship deals and things like that? There's a lot of stuff that I think you could give some good advice on here that isn't really talked about that much, and talk about as much or as little as you want to here. I don't want to get into anything too personal, but I think it's something where people, obviously social media isn't going away. A lot of people want to be on social media. They want to have a good Instagram account. They want to get a sponsorship. I want to have sponsorships for the podcast. Like things like that, it's what keeps you doing what you're doing. Like when money starts coming in, it really helps you create better videos. You reinvest, and then the quality gets better. You can do it more often. And so it's just a big cycle that once you get started, you just keep going. What are some advice or just real life experiences you've had to go through when it comes to all of that? Like did you have any business background experience before this?
So other than I am a partner in the optometry clinic here.
Okay.
So it's like it's a completely different business.
It's different, yeah.
Experience. I mean, the only similarities there are just basically like, assets and liabilities.
Yeah.
Totally different. But yeah, you talk about like coming up with prices for sponsored posts is tough.
Yeah.
I was watching, scrolling through TikTok and people on there saying like, oh, you should be getting paid, numbers. And they're throwing out numbers. Like if you have 100,000 followers, you should be getting paid this. And you should be able to make a full-time income if you have 100,000 followers, if you have 500,000 followers. And I was like, I have that. And there's no way that I'm not making a full-time income. I don't know where you're getting all this money, but I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
I have like different tiers of like sponsorship requests you get. You'll get requests from these, knockoff, like cheap Chinese company brands on Amazon. Like there's always these people selling stuff on Amazon. They're selling cheap junk and they want to pay you $100 and send you a free product. We'll send you a free product. You're like, I don't want that product. Like I don't need that. But they, and I tell them like, oh no, I would want more money than that. And they're like, oh, that's terrible. I literally like just recently sold someone my price. And they replied, and they're like, oh, that concerns me because we could pay a blogger, way less than that to promote our product. And I was like, that's because, good luck with that because nobody's reading blogs.
Nobody reads blogs, yeah.
Your blogger has 1 million followers that never get on there anymore.
Yeah.
No one gets blogs. Like, anyway, that was funny to me. But that was, broken English, and you could tell it was just some company over in China, and they didn't want to pay, whatever. So there's like that. You get a lot of those, and it's like, okay, here's another one of these, and like the cheap junk. But then you get like serious companies, like small businesses that are, here in the United States, and I like to support that. So it's kind of, I'm torn. Like if it's a small business, I'm like, well, I know that they can't afford to pay. So like I mentioned Scott's and Lowe's.
Yeah.
The way that I got up to my current price point was, and I won't tell you numbers because I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to. Like you sign these agreements. And I'm not
that's
sure
right.
In there, so I'm not.
Yeah.
It was Lowe's. Oh, no, sorry, Scott's. It was Scott's. It doesn't matter. But anyway, they were doing a promotional period for New Year's Eve, Nature's New Year's Eve. So it was the first day of spring. So they were saying like, oh, the first day of spring is Nature's New Year. And since you like to grow grass, and there were like, 5 other creators that were going to be on this thing that grow plants and trees or whatever, Nature's New Year was a thing.
Yeah.
They were going to do the bulb drop, like a flower bulb,
Mm-hmm.
It's clever. Anyway, that was the thing. It was a whole like a week, like a 3-day long series leading up to the first day of spring. So like staying up till midnight. Well, I think I mentioned this on Paul's podcast too. I wake up earlier in the morning. I wake up like 3:45 in the morning and get a lot of stuff done early in the morning. So staying up till midnight is not.
It's not an option.
For the last time I've stayed up till midnight, and so I told them straight up. I was like, 3 videos, like that's fine, and they're coming up for a package deal price for all this stuff. But I really don't want to do the live event. Like they wanted to do a live event, and we were supposed to be like the headline thing or whatever, like the last people and present on the live on TikTok for the bulb drop. And so that meant I was like, that means I have to actually be there at midnight. And I was like, I don't want to. So I threw out a number. This is actually something interesting because it's something I've learned from my dad. My dad is a cabinet salesman. And so they bid jobs, and if they're selling cabinets, say apartment complex in Mississippi somewhere, like says we need cabinets. And you say, okay, so he like will go through the whole blueprint or whatever, go out and measure all this, to do all this work to give them a quote. And they have gotten jobs bid from like California and like places really far away. And he'll be so busy at certain times that he's told me this, like, I was so busy that I threw out a number that was so astronomically high because I didn't want to do it. So basically, throw out the number that makes it worth it to you. Like, because has their number, right? Like if there's something you don't want to do, I didn't want to stay up till midnight, but I've got my number.
Yeah, you've got a number that says, hey, I'll stay up for this. Like,
yeah. So I threw out that number, And she was like, okay, I'll get with the team and I'll get back to you. And then emails me back and was like, okay, you got it. And I was floored. Just like, wait a minute, you got to be kidding me. And figuring out that, like, well, I guess I could tell you another story, because the first one I did, the first big company was Lowe's.
Yeah.
And that was I was like, whoa, Lowe's is going to share my content. That's amazing. Because, like, when you're small, you're like, anybody
That's
share
crazy,
my stuff.
yeah.
You know, a big company like Lowe's is going to share this on Instagram. That's insane. I'll do it for free. You know, and literally that was my attitude. So, that was the first one I've ever done. So they asked, what will you charge us for a sponsored post? And I was like, yeah, you know, I could probably do it. I'm acting all big and tough, you know, whatever. I like savvy here. I'm going to give you my number, my quote, you know, and send this official whatever email and saying my quote for doing this video. I have to do all this work and go in, you know, you want me to do this, whatever. So I would say it probably cost $200.
Yeah.
They messaged me back and she was like, okay, what if we pay you again? I'm not supposed to, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say, but what if we pay you? It was more than that number.
Yeah. Significantly more.
She was like, what if we pay you this? Because we like to like make it at least, you know, fair or whatever. We don't want to take advantage of it. Oh, crap. Then I felt really dumb because I was like, I went too low.
Yeah.
Like on the other end. So then like I started going up on the number like later, and that's how you learn. Like that's how I learned anyway.
Yeah.
What that was just by throwing out a number that was way too low and making that mistake, and then throwing out a number that was what I thought was way too high and somebody accepting it, and all of a sudden learning, whoa, maybe that's not too high. That's what this is worth. That's what, to a big company anyway, TikTok videos for somebody at that point was, I don't even know, like maybe around 900,000 followers, or possibly a little bit less than that. I'm not sure. Around 900,000 followers at the time. That's what it's worth to a big company like that. Like those are big marketing budgets. And so it's obviously easier than like small company that wants to, you know, they're just mom and pop shop that's making this one little weed pulling tool, and they don't have the budget for paying that kind of money. But so anyway, it was eye opening. And from then on, like I've just kind of known like, hey, big companies, like this is sort of the number. Ballpark anyway.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And I like that you still like try to work with the mom and pop shops, because that's what it's about. It's you're getting helped by the big companies. They're helping you do your stuff, and then you can go back and help the smaller companies by cutting them a deal here and there and giving their product out there and helping them grow up, and they might be the next big company. You never know. Just by you sharing a product like that and helping them out, you could say, well, yeah, I helped you get here. But you know, that the stories about the pricing is super cool, because me and Paul have this conversation all the time about excuse me, about sponsorships and knowing your worth. And it's funny that you sit here and say like the $200 story, that's a funny story. But at the end of the day, like, you have to know your worth. And it's just like me mowing a lawn. Like, I have to know my worth. I don't need to go out there for $30. I need to go out there for $75 if I'm going to be there for a certain amount of time. Whatever it is, whatever your number is, that's what you need to be doing. And even in the beginning, like yourself, you were making quality videos. You were doing the right stuff that you needed to do. You had good customer service with the companies. Like, you just didn't know your worth. So now let me ask you this. Do you send out quotes, or do you ask them what their marketing budget is? Because I was having a conversation with someone else, and we won't name their name, but I was having somebody else who deals with sponsorships, and they were like, yeah, I'll never ever send out a quote again, because they did what you did. They sent out a $200 quote, and then the company that they were going to work with sent back and was like, no, we're going to give you this much. And it was like 4 times what they sent out. And so they were like, yeah, I'm never going to send them a quote again. I'm just going to ask them what their marketing budget is. And I thought that was a really kind of a cool take on it, because you never know when you get in these big, massive Scotts, Lowe's, Home Depot, things like that. Their marketing budget alone is hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, bigger numbers than we can really even, I can even really fathom. Like, that's just what they're doing for marketing, not all their other. I mean, so how do you take that now that you've learned, you have your price now? Do you still just send it a flat rate out, or when you have big companies, do you like ask them that question?
No, I think that's a great strategy, and something that I could try in the future. And I've thought about it, like saying like, what is it worth to you, or like, what's your budget?
Exactly,
and, true value hard. So what happens is all these big companies, they're not messaging you. It's a marketing company that's messaging you.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter, but they're a little more familiar with the going rate for that sort of thing. Like if you got approached by the actual, I don't know. I would hope that if the actual like head of marketing at Lowe's approached somebody for a TikTok sponsorship, they would have done enough research to know what the growing rate for a TikTok video was.
For sure, yeah.
That the head of marketing at Lowe's is probably an older white guy who did a TikTok. So anyway, that doesn't matter. But so when the marketing companies messaged me one time, the marketing company that was working for True Value, they had a specific amount. They said, will you do, like, basically the request was, we want to do it and this is the amount.
Yeah.
So that I'd right then and there, like, oh yes, I want to, or yes, or no, I don't. And they were unapologetic about like haggling. They were like, oh, this, basically take it or leave it. So that made it easy. I'm like, I'll take that. Like, I'll do that. And did that one. Versus a lot of times they'll ask you what your rate is. And I don't know, you could go back and forth on that, because if I, said, what is your budget? And then they throw out an offer, then I have to decide, oh, maybe I want that, maybe I don't. And then you could haggle from there. But at the same time, if I would have done that on that second one that I told you about, I would have gotten way less. And I know that because they tried to come back and offer me less. And I said no. I was like, no, that's just what it's going to take to motivate me to stay up till midnight. I told them that was what it was or whatever. And then they came back and they said yes. So, you're like, oh, you're going to get more money if you tell them to throw out a number. And if you don't know, like if you're new at this and you don't know what that number is, I think that's a good strategy. And I guess I did do that one time. That same marketing company that threw out the number, they came back and wanted to buy the video after the fact. So that's a thing. You can get paid to make a video, but then I guess sometimes in the contract, it'll tell you that they, like, after you agree to make these, 3 videos, or you make this one video, and also it includes the rights to own that video.
Oh, I did not know that.
Sometimes it'll say that, sometimes it doesn't, and then this time it didn't. So they came back after the fact. I guess they liked the video and they wanted to buy the video. And that one, I was like, I have no clue, because that's just sitting on my TikTok page,
making you money forever.
Like, it's just sitting there. So if you want to buy it from me, I have to do 0 hours of work, like literally nothing. I just send you the file. So I don't know what that's worth. I have to do nothing extra. So I told him, I was like, I have never done that before. You tell me what it's worth, because she's kind of a middleman. Like, she still wants to save the budget. So she might, I would assume she undercut me a little bit.
For sure.
But when she threw out that number, I was like, whoa. I was kind of shocked how high that number was. Doing nothing. And I was like, deal. You can have that.
You could buy every video in my arsenal now.
Yeah, like, and that was interesting, because I've, in the future, that was the same thing with, there are pages that want to share your content. Like, there are complete Instagram accounts or Facebook pages, whatever, that all they do is share other people's stuff. They don't make any of their own stuff. So they'll like message and say, can we share this video? Usually, they have a pretty big following, and it's one of those, like, can we share this video? And I'm like, I usually just let everybody share it. I don't really care. I don't know, but one of those companies that did that, like, offered money on the front end. And that was interesting, because I was like, I don't charge for that. Yeah, like, I've never charged for that before, but they offered me money, and I was like, well, yeah, I'll take your money, but I would have given it to you for free, whatever. Yeah. Like, I shouldn't probably be offering it on the front end. They should wait to see if people are going to charge, but that's on them. So I was like, I'll take your money. But then I was like, okay, maybe let me think about this. The next one that asked if they could share my videos was, well, hey, I just got paid, to like let somebody else use my video. Would you be willing to pay? And they're like, oh no, we don't have a budget for that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, go ahead and share it.
Yeah.
It was like I haven't come across any other company that was paying, but I've heard that there are lots of them out there that are willing to pay to share your video. So that's a thing too. I just don't. Sometimes it's awkward to bring up the conversation. You're like, oh yeah, like is this a paying gig? Or oh, it's not a paying gig. You're like, oh yes, no, I didn't think so. And then you just like let them share it anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, that's. I guess. No, that's funny stuff. It is a crazy thing when you get into that world, and you're learning so much. It's cool to me because I know I'm one of those who knows nothing about it when it comes to coming up with those prices. Like if I ever get to that point, I'll be the one that says, "Yeah, what's your budget?" Like that. I'm going to be feeling it out from them and see what they say, and then eventually know your worth and things like that. So. As we wrap this thing up, like I said, you're on your lunch break here. I appreciate you joining us today. I don't want to take – we did this very short notice. It's awesome that you were so responsive, and I'm very, very appreciative. As far as the lawn tools go, so we talked about the money and things. How does it work with, like, you and your brother? Are y'all, like, 50-50 partners in this? or do you take the lead on everything? Like I know you're doing the podcast here. I guess, do you run the social media solely? How does that work? That whole aspect.
Yeah, so he's edited some YouTube videos. So he's great for ideas. Every once in a while, he'll come up with an idea, and so my brother. Anybody who's like a fan of the LawnTools knows that Left Tool, my brother, like he's funnier than I am.
Yeah,
but he's more creative than I am. My brother can sing better than I can. But he doesn't go out of his way to do that. And also, he's just not like my personality, I guess, is more structured to where I'm like, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and just like able to consistently keep doing that. Whereas that's not his personality, where, if he was doing this on his own, he would post a video, maybe like 4 videos in a month. And then for a month go like, I don't really feel like doing it. Just not really doing it. And he knows that, like, it's not like a secret or whatever. So he knows that like, he's not going to be consistent about something. And I'm totally fine with that too. Like we've just gotten to the point where I do almost everything with the lawn tool. He shows up and helps me with lawn work. So like we do a sand leveling project and like he's there, or like we're doing it on his yard. So like he gets, the lawn tools paid for sod for his house, like, we're paying for seed for the new, anyway, getting free stuff for like his house.
Yeah.
Sand and whatever, like mowers. He's never had to buy a mower other than that first manual remower. It doesn't matter. So he owns like 30% of the company. And when I told him that, like I got it restructured after I initially set up the LLC. And I told him, I was like, hey, by the way, you own 30% of the lawn tools. And he was like, what? No, that's way too high. Go back and restructure it. And I was like, that's what I wanted to do. Even though, he doesn't do a ton, still like something that I feel like we do together and that we have done together. And we go to GIE and he does like all the road trips. He puts a lot of time into it, just not like the editing and the day-to-day social media type stuff. So like I still definitely appreciate all the help that he's getting, and he comes in, and like I said, moving sand, we're like moving 18 tons of sand around all over the yard and dragging it everywhere. It's 100 degrees outside.
You need to be working on that Bobcat sponsorship. Get your skid loader out there.
Oh man! So and what's cool is like our dad has like a cow farm, and so he has the Kubota.
Okay, so you got
we've got access to some stuff that like a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
So it's in that regard too, but anyway, like there's a lot of big stuff that he helps with for sure, and so I thought 30%, like probably too low, and he was like, no, it's way too high, but
well, that's a good thing. That's cool that you have that relationship with him, because I feel like that's something that could get kind of sketchy as you grow, and money changes a lot of things, and so you would never want it to interfere with your relationship. And I think it's cool that y'all are on the same page there and running it together. Let me ask you this: I got two more questions here. Have you ever had a new patient come in to get their eyes checked and be like, "Whoa, I've seen you on TikTok"?
Yes. I'm trying to think if I've had any new. I have had new patients, probably. I don't know specifically new.
Or any patient.
And say, oh yeah, like the other day it was kind of funny because this kid, he was probably 12 or something. His mom totally like threw him under the bus, not like that, but she was just like, oh, and he watches you on TikTok. You
really?
Was so like he watches your videos on TikTok, and embarrassed him like crazy. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And so we just talked about it because like I love encouraging younger kids to think about doing it. Like if you think about someone being, he was like 12, 13, I don't know, 14.
Yeah.
You could find your niche and like start doing something early, like that young. I see the potential now, like, over the past doing this, and like, I'm 33 years old. If you started when you were 16 doing basket weaving, and it wouldn't matter if you did it for that long, like if you did it for 15 years,
you would build that audience that followed you and like watched you grow. That's what it would be.
Absolutely. So anyway, I like talking to kids. There's a kid, one of my patients he started doing YouTube videos on mountain bikes or whatever. And so I would just, every time he'd come in, I'd talk to him about that and encourage him to keep going or whatever.
Yeah.
And he hasn't really kept doing it. A kid that I actually like worked out with a handful of times who, I've sort of like been in a mentorship kind of relationship with, and he's starting doing like bodybuilding type stuff. And I was telling him just the other day, like, keep posting, like keep doing it. And then I think especially with bodybuilding, like the haters are going to come out, but just have to like keep going. Like you're going to get over it at some point. You get desensitized to it. And I just have gotten to the point where I don't care anymore. I legitimately don't care about any hateful comments, because I get it too. It's like, literally someone made a whole TikTok video as a stitch to one of my videos. This dude is it's ridiculous. People, like 5 people sent it to me, and I was like, whatever, you guys, like, just, why are you watching this garbage? Just keep on moving. But the video was him bashing the rotary scissors, because rotary scissors have gotten tons of views on TikTok. Bashing the rotary scissors and literally says, be a real man, use a string trimmer. And I was like, a real man? Like, what the heck? With the type of trimmer that you're using, like, I was like, there's so many things wrong with that, but I don't have time to like have this discussion with you, swipe and move on. Like, I was done. Like, it's just ridiculous. And there's so much of that. You just have to learn to let it roll off your back and just keep moving. Yeah.
I heard you talk about that on Paul's show, and that's something. Man, I hate that we have to write this thing up, but we could go another 2 hours, I think. But that's really, really fun stuff. I want to be respectful of your time. I know you got to hopefully probably scarf down some lunch and then get back to seeing patients. But one final question that we do try to ask all of our guests here: what is your why for the Lawn Tools? What is your why behind it all?
Man, it's been shifting recently. I'm a wuss. Like, okay, so I have 3 kids, and they're amazing. So I just actually finished uploading my video of the miniature golf course that we cut on the year for my oldest son's birthday. So, basically family. Like, family's my why, and freedom. As far as like finances and everything, that you're like, oh, your why could be having a lot of money, and like that's sort of a means to an end, to a different end, because money is not the end game for me. Money means freedom. So like my mindset in everything that I do, and so my wife and I have invested in some real estate and done some other things, and then like because the optometry thing, and then doing the side hustle, whatever, like it's all about buying back my time.
Yeah,
because lots of different ways you can do that, like just having a higher income or having an income from a different source or passive income, whatever it is. Like time, the unit of currency, how do I say, the unit of measurement for time could be the dollar, like here in the United States. Like, because literally if you have enough dollars, you can buy back your time. I could buy time with my family with enough dollars. Like in the wording, you could get more eloquent with the wording of that, but that's basically the short end of it. And like, I joke with my wife all the time, like at some point, my goal is to be able to go to the theme park in the middle of on a random Wednesday. Like, I want to be walking. Now there's a place in Missouri called Silver Dollar City, and that's like the smell of my childhood. It's so much nostalgia when we go back there. It's in Branson, but
old Branson.
Yeah, I want to be walking around the streets of Silver Dollar City on a random Wednesday one day and just be like, yep, this is it. Yeah. Because I can.
Yeah.
And there and whatever. And it hits me every time when my son has just gotten to the age where he'll ask, like, are you off today? Are you off today? Or like because I go home for lunch a lot, which is really cool. I live pretty close to where I work, so I get to go home for lunch sometimes. So I'm in the satellite office today. So it's a 30-minute drive back to home. Anyway, not today. Not on Tuesday.
Good. But don't let me feel bad for missing family time. I'm okay if you miss your lunch, but not if you miss family time.
But no, when I go home for lunch, then he'll ask me, like, are you done for the day?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, go back. Because he's like, we want to play Junior Monopoly or play, whatever, like a board game or something like that. And I'm like, no, I got to go back to work right after I, eat or whatever. And like every single time, it's just like, like the daggers. I'm like, I wish I could say, yes, I'm off today. Every time you ask that question, but probably got some time to go before that happens.
Yeah, but you're building the dream. Yeah, I mean that's what you're working towards. I think it's awesome that's what it is. And I asked this. I mean, we've had over 100 episodes here now, and we've asked probably 95 to 100 of them that same question: what is your why? And they're all different answers. Some of them have been the same answers, but they all have a different meaning at the end of the day. And so I think it's cool that that's yours like that. I mean, a lot of people say family, but then everybody has something different. Like your thing of being able to go walk around Silver Dollar at 12 o'clock in the afternoon on any random day, I'm in tune with that. I'm the exact same way. Like, I want to get to the point where we can load up in the car and drive down here to the beach for 2 days if we want to. And any day of the week, no matter what the time is, any time of the year, let's go do it. And it doesn't have to be some $1 million trip, just something where you can go spend time with your family. And that's, I think that's really cool. I look up to a lot of guys like that. I look up to you because that's a cool just way to look at things. It's money isn't everything. And we have a son who's going to be here in a month and a half now. It's very, very close to coming. And that, like, everything that when we do these interviews, I take away from these interviews are things like this. These last 5 minutes of just real talk, like real life stuff. And the real moment is fun. You're getting to go out there and make videos and have a lot of people watch you. But at the end of the day, the family is what it's all about, and the time spent with them. So it's really cool, man. It's really awesome. I'm super appreciative. Like, I can't express enough how appreciative I am for you coming on today and spending your lunch break with us here. I just hope you have a great rest of the day there where you're at.
I know. I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. Like, this is just cool conversation, like this sort of stuff. Which going along with, just like you're like hoping for the future and like planning for this or whatever. But like right now, what I'm struggling with a lot is like this balance and finding like I gotta like grind it out and really like get to that future goal, but at the same time focus on all the good that's going on right now.
Live in the now, yeah.
Dude, like that's this weird, like in between, this weird struggle and trying to like enjoy as much time as I can. So that's another thing about waking up at 3:45 in the morning is getting as much of this stuff done before everybody's awake, so that like when I got off work, it's all about family time. It's kind of the new thing that I'm going through right now. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, everybody that's listening to this show, probably already all 200 people that listen in here probably already know where to find you. But if they want to find you, where can they find you on social media? Yeah, so it's the LawnTools on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram mainly. It's like Facebook, but I don't really do much there. So, and if there's one YouTube video to watch, right, it's this one that just came out. There you go. That's the one. The miniature golf course is my favorite. For those exact reasons we just talked about, the miniature golf project every year, 4 years running now, is my favorite project. It's like by far, far, far my favorite project, and kind of by far gets the least number of views every year. It's really funny, but it's one of those like I don't really care. I don't know. Like, it's not like I'm going to quit doing it because, it doesn't get views, so I'm not going to do it. I guess if it just quits getting views, I'll just stop putting it on. I'll just do it and not film it. Like, it would be way easier if I didn't have to film all that. If I could just do it and not have to. So anyway. But that's cool documentation to show your kids and your grandkids when they're older and things like that video is going to be priceless one day, no matter how much money it brings in. You getting to go back and watch those times and that experience, you won't remember. Let's get this camera angle and the sweat that went into it. You'll just remember, hey, look at all the fun we had doing it. So, the '90s, your dad, walked around with the old school camcorder, like everybody had. Now it's us with like these nice cameras and putting up YouTube videos. And I guess short of YouTube disappearing, I need to make sure all those videos are backed up because what if like Google? For sure. If China comes in and hacks everything. Yep. Well, that's good stuff, man. Well, like I said, I really appreciate it. We've already gone over. I'm so sorry I held you too long, but I hope you have a great rest of the day. Yeah, that's right. Time flies when you're having fun. So I really do appreciate it, man. Hope you have a great day there back in the office. Oh, man. Yeah, you have a good one, too. Have fun on the beach. Try to. About to head down there and catch some sun, so looking forward to it. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's show. If it was a help to you, would you leave us a rating and review? Those really do help boost us out there so we can continue to grow the community one relationship at a time. Again, thanks to Jordan, and we look forward to catching up with everybody here on the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.